So Linux kernel 6.7 is finally here, and with it comes bcachefs. Now everyone's been telling me I need to be using this because they say it's going to be the next big file system. Are they right? Is it actually going to be good? Let's give it a test today, shall we? Now, to be honest, even though I'm sitting here joking about saying I don't think it's going to be that great, I've actually been excited about this project because I used to use bcache back when it was just a tool. It was a very handy way to create cheap hybrid drives. You know, when you get those drives with a solid state cache in a spinning rush drive, back when they used to be rather expensive, it was a pretty good way to do things. So I had a 60 gig solid state hard drive and let's say a terabyte spinning Rust, and I could use the fast data on the SSD part of it. It was pretty good. You could also use it for weird tricks like getting swap to work over NFS, stuff like that. It was a pretty good tool. But let's see, can we get it running and is it stable? So Gentoo itself doesn't actually support bcachefs just yet, so we're going to have to enable that right now. So give me 2 seconds. Right, now that's built, we're going to see if this boots and works. Now obviously I'm going to be using this in a VM today because it's still an experimental experimental file system, and we don't want to be running this sort of stuff on a production machine that we actually care about, not till we know. So this is just to see where things are. Is it going to be a good choice to use? And I recommend that you do the same thing for now until it does become a stable file system. Basically, when the kernel stops calling it experimental. Let's fire up this VM anyway. Looking good. Right, let's double check, make sure our kernel's being used. Excellent. Is bcache loadable? Yes it is. So we're all looking good there. We've got the basics in place. Let's run fdisk on VDA. Okay, this is just my old drive that I used for the speedrun the other day in the Christmas video. Let's make our bit. So we're going to need a 1 megabyte partition for grub. I'm going to need a 1 gigabyte for boot. So normally you mount EFI on its own partition, but grub unfortunately doesn't support bcachefs yet, so we're just going to cheat this time and mount EFI and boot on the same partition, like the old school way of doing it basically. And then we'll finally just create this. So as I said earlier on, one of the things I was most looking forward to, oh my god, I've just deleted that, let me just redo that again. Yeah, one of the things I was most looking forward to was the ability of using a spinning Rust and a SSD as a cache drive. So I would kind of like to see how that works on a real system later on. We're not going to be able to do that today, obviously, in a VM, but hey, we can get a good test on this. So let's change the types on this. Does it have a? No, it doesn't seem to have a. Let's change that to this. I've given the VM 40 gigs of RAM, so no point running that. And yes, there we go. Equipped. Probably didn't even need the 1 megabyte partition, but it's there if we do. So we need to make fat. Make fs.fat. vfat f32 /dev vda2. Okay, now let's see if we can do bcache. Looking good when you can just do that. VDA3. Nice, so that's that built. Alright, now we'll mount the drive. So let's mount /VDA. We're just going to see if mount can auto detect that it's the right one first. We might need to force set it with pipe. No, it works. So if we go to DFH, we can see it's right down there. And yep, we can see bcache. I can't get the cursor to go in the right place, but you get the idea. Right, so let's mount into Gentoo. Okay, we'll do a mount there. Push mount. No, I don't want to be doing that. I want to. Come on, there we go. Right, let's get a. Oh. What we need to do is get the sub-volumes working. So now apparently sub-volumes are in a still an experimental stage, which doesn't fill me with absolute confidence, which again is why I'm only doing this on a VM rather than a actual system. So apparently to create a sub-volume, which is basically just like a fancy way of saying a partition in a file system, I think that's probably the best way to describe it. So what we do is bcachefs sub-volume, and then we'll create home. Okay, so that is done. So that should be everything. Now if we check the systems over here. Oh, apparently you can add compression. Should we try that? Let's try it. I'm up for a bit of compression on this. Let's see what happens when you've done it and it's mounted. That'd be quite interesting just to see how it handles that. Can you do it on the fly? Apparently if you do bcache fs format, compression equals LZ4 dev VDA. I think I've just formatted it. Let's go back. CD Gentoo. Yeah, so I've just formatted over it. We'll quickly recreate these steps again. Okay, let's just take a check at mount now. Yeah, so I've got the compression in now. Handy. Okay, I like that. I'm not going to mess about with encryption or anything like that today. I kind of feel like that's an unfair test for it. Let's say it is still experimental. But let's get Gentoo installed. You know how to install Gentoo this time. I'm going to speed it up. I'll stop it when we get to the exciting bits though, like kernel and stuff like that. What we need to have a look at for bcache support. All right. Okay, so we've got the essentials all sorted out. Let's go and work on the kernel then. So, currently as a recording, 6.7 isn't available as a disk kernel, but we're going to have to build our own kernel today. So, nano, etc., because we need to unlock, unkeyword this 6.7. That's the one I'm trying to get out. Right, so we do equals because we only want this version. Gentoo sources 6.7.0. There we go. Now if I do emerge va Gentoo sources. Okay, right. Let's make our kernel config. So make local yes config. It's just basically finds all the settings that you got on your system. Not overly recommended to do it on a live CD, but it does. Just hit the defaults. I'll go through these in a second and check it out properly. I'm just getting a basic config to start with. Okay, now we do make nconfig. I'll show you the important one we need to do. So file system, if we go down here, we should see bcache down here. Where you hiding? Bcache hides in under normal file systems. Okay. Let's just go past it. I've got the wrong sources installed, that's why. What an idiot. Oops. Yeah, so it always works better when you use the right sources. There we go. Right. Now if we go to file systems, we should see it right there. Perfect. Right. Let's go and edit this kernel then. Okay, that should be it. So let's just check boot just to make sure. Oh, I didn't run make install. There we go. Forgot that call was dry cut for us. There we go. Now if I rerun this, everything should be good now. So if we reboot, right, let's try starting this. Toolbar, everything's looking good. Now I didn't add anything to fdisk just to see what would happen. Okay. So, Grub did not like that. Let's go and take a look into why this is. Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that to work. What? Okay, I've got no comments on that. That's something I'll look into in a second, I think. But let's just take that as a win for now. We are actually in, and I believe we are mounted on this. Yep, and we've got our compression as well. Let's see what happens if we add it to fstab and then reboot, just for let's just see if it's user error. Try that as a reboot now. See what happens. You know what it is? It's because I didn't install bcache tools. Right, and then we rebuild where I can't, so that'll be force K version equals 6.7.0 Gentoo. No, it does not. Interesting. We'll take a look into what that's causing that in a second. Oh.
SpongeBob?
I waited so long.
SpongeBob?
And you broke it.
You okay, buddy?
Yes. Yes, I'm okay.
Oh, for a sec,
You ruined my free toy!
I'm sorry. Oh, maybe if you just...
Made things worse. My mount does read right. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, I'm read right for some reason. Let's go and see what's causing this, and we'll pop. Okay, so issue seems to be that if you set this anything higher than 0, it will break. So we quickly reboot into the live CD and fix this. How it worked. A little error there. There we go. So root. And that looks like everything is working good. So let's try fast patch. You can't really see, but just in the corner there by the 12%, it does say that it's running bcache. We can check that in mount. Where are you? I can't see it. Old man eyes kicking in there. Oh, it's there. There we go. So I haven't got GMP, but we've got right there. I'll zoom in with that. So let's get a desktop environment running. let's not pretend there was any user error there and everything was everything else's fault. But hang on a minute. Where's my cappuccino? Ah, no. Right, give me 2 seconds. Let's make this beautiful. Oh, that's better. Now things look a bit prettier. Right. So let's take a look at the system. Like, clear this. So, as we can see, now got a full system working. And again, then we can see, and we got bcache running as nice. So, generally speaking, it's a pretty nice file system. Everything's working for experimental. Looks good. No drama while emerging, and we've pretty hit this thing quite hard. So yeah, generally all right. Now, what I'm wondering is, how does snapshotting work? Because I do a lot of random things. I end up breaking systems a lot. Let's take a look at how that would work then. So we do su that, log in that to root. Type the root password in correctly. So apparently all you do is run a command and it will do it. So it should just be a case of bcachefs. I think you just create a subvolume. Yeah, subvolume. Snapshot slash we just call it snapshot. Now, if I go to slash snapshot, as you can see there, everything's now sitting inside it. So I wonder, can we get this to actually just boot straight into from Grub? Because if you could, this makes snapshotting a hell of a lot easier, and definitely a lot better than ZFS's way of doing it.
One eternity later.
Well, it doesn't look like you can get it to work like you can in Butter and ZFS, which is a real shame because that's a big feature. But looking at how these snapshots perform and speed-wise, I'm really impressed. Like, you could use this pretty quick. You could just log into a live CD, movies over, and be back into a working CD system pretty fast. So it's not the end of the world. It's just not what I was hoping for. Let's have a look though. If I let's check the space on this. Let's have a look. If I remove stage 3. Where you gone? There, 7.4. You can't really tell on that. But if we, oh, of course it'd be the same, because if you go into snapshots, ls, it's still there. No, that's work pretty much as you expect, and as you can tell, it hasn't snapshotted home either. So if I could actually do a separate one, I'll go back ls. What was the command I'd used for this? Home. Could actually just snapshot it into the snapshot, but in this case I'm just going to do snapshot home. And there's my drive back up as well. So yeah, I am actually really pleased with the performance on this, and I'm half tempted to use it even on this snake. Might fire it onto a laptop, but yeah. That's a quick rundown into using bcachefs on Gentoo. It's not the hardest thing in the world. I mean, all we're really missing is official support in the live CD. Get that built, clean up documents a little bit, which I'll be doing in a second myself, no doubt. And I probably could say this is a better damn good file system to use. But yeah, let me know. Would you like me to do some more videos on this? I could take a look at using this with a spin and rush drive as a kind of cache fast system, and then using a rush drive as a backup drive, like as an archive media, or maybe even just take a look into encryption, see how that works, because bcache does have some experimental support for that. But let me know in the comments what you think, and yeah, subscribe if you want to see some more weird content with things like this. I'll catch you on the next one.